community to, oh, we're on. Good morning, everybody. My name is Susie Murray. I am the zoning administrator. I'm also a senior planner with the city of Santa Rosa, and I've been working here since 2006, most of which has been spent in the planning division doing development review. Let's see, I'm at this point item 1, I'm going to call this zoning administrator meeting to order at 10:32 on August 17th. I'm also going to look at my calendar very quickly and get us a date. August 28th. It's August 17th. So the second order of business here is public comment period. This is a time when any member of the public or any person may address matters not listed on this agenda, but are within the subject matter of this jurisdiction. The public may comment on agenda items when the item is called. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Anybody want to make any public comments? None in the room?
And we have no Zoom attendees or
Okay.
by phone.
Okay. Zoning administrator business. So the first item is,
Conclude the comment period.
I'm closing the public comment period. There will be lots of opportunities for public comment. The statement of purpose. The zoning administrator is appointed by the Director of Planning and Economic Development and has the responsibility and authority to conduct public meetings and hearings and to act on applications for minor or reduced review authority projects or entitlements, which are land use permits. A determination or decision by the zoning administrator may be appealed to the appropriate appeal body, including the Design Review Board, Cultural Heritage Board, Planning Commission, or City Council as applicable to the decision. And the appeal period for any actions taken today will sunset on August 28th. That's a Monday. The 10th day falls on a Sunday, so we just bump it out to the next business day. So I do believe I have to open up public comment period again for that item, every item. Isn't that the way it's working now?
It's initially, there's a public comment, and then for each item, there is a public comment.
Yeah, there was an update. I'm going to, for the sake of being safe, I'm going to say again, after everything, you're going to hear it all over. Them opening up the opportunity for public comment. If anybody would like to comment, please do. Otherwise, I'll close the comment period. Seeing no hands raised, I'm going to close the public comment period. Now I'm going to talk about zoning administrator reports. I'm going to give the plug for our general plan update. We hear very often, when did this land use get changed? This is the time when the public can get involved. We've circulated a draft. Santa Rosa, if you type in the address bar of your search engine or Google Santa Rosa forward, you will come to a website, a web page for the city that has our general plan update on it, our draft. If you hit documents, you can see all elements of that. I strongly recommend everybody look at that and see what's going on around their neighborhood, because this is the time to make change. So I'm going to open up public comment period. Are there any public comments? Still no. Thank you. I'm going to close the public comment period. There are no consent items.
Online.
Oh, is there anybody online?
We do have a Zoom attendee
Oh,
also.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. You may find the raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute once called upon. Zoning Administrator Murray, we do not have any hands raised.
Great. Okay. So moving on to item 4.0, consent items, we have none. So I'm not going to open up a public comment period. Moving on to 5 scheduled items. Item 5.1, I'd like to invite Planner McKay up to join me. Item 5.1 is a public meeting for a mobile food vending business. It requires a minor conditional use permit And the project is located at 440 Dutton. City file number is CUP 21-066. And I will ask Connor to give his presentation.
Thank you, zoning administrator Meads. I'm going to bring up a couple Murray, sorry. I think that's one of my first ZAs with you.
It may be.
I think my first ever in person.
Is it?
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you.
I've been doing it in person for years.
Okay, so I'm bringing up an aerial, and then I will also bring up the site plan for the proposed project. And I'll kind of just flip back and forth between those. Let's see, it's gonna be kind of hard to read. All right, this might be a little small, but let me share my screen now. There we go. Okay, so as was mentioned by zoning administrator Murray, this is a request for a minor conditional use permit to operate a mobile food vending business at the corner of Sebastopol Road and Dutton Avenue. And as you can see here, the food truck is proposed to be at what is the south or the northeast corner of Sebastopol Road and Dutton Avenue. They do propose, as you can see on the site plan, approximately 3 tables with removable tent on top. There are sufficient parking spaces for both the food truck operation and the existing land use at this parking lot, which is primarily the Lola's Market. Lola's Market will also be providing bathroom access in accordance with our zoning code requirements for restroom facilities that are serving mobile food vending operations. There's a requirement that it's located within a certain distance, and they are 140 feet and 9 inches away, as described in this site plan that you can see on the screen. I will note that Lola's closes at what I believe is 9 p.m., but we do have a letter from the owner of Lola's Market that states that the operator will have a key to provide to patrons of the mobile food vending operation that will provide bathroom access after Lola's closes until the food truck closes at 11 p.m., which is the latest a food truck is allowed to operate in the city of Santa Rosa pursuant to the zoning code. The circulation of the parking lot would not be affected as there is adequate parking, and generally cars will be parking in the parking spaces allotted for the mobile food vending operation. The project has been conditioned by the fire department to adequately manage and store any fuel sources for the operation of the food truck, and is otherwise conditioned by the planning department to comply with all zoning code requirements that are applicable to mobile food vending operations. On that note, I have prepared a modified resolution that removes quite a few conditions of approval in favor of just referencing the zoning code section, not by number, but by name, because sometimes our zoning code sections change, and we're currently in the process of amending a lot of sections right now. So at the recommendation of the zoning administrator, we are now just referencing the requirements as stated in the zoning code and not listing them by number. So I'm not sure if it's appropriate for me to read into the record each of these numbers that have been struck.
No, I don't think so. I think that what you need to, what you've done is adequate.
Okay, cool. And then in terms of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project has been reviewed in compliance with CEQA and qualifies for a class 4 exemption in that the mobile food vendor is a minor temporary use of land having negligible or no permanent effects on the environment. And I'm available for any questions if
Is the applicant here?
The applicant is not in attendance.
Okay, and I'm going to ask if there's any public comment about the food truck? Is there any? Yeah.
If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. You may find the raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to mute once called upon. Zoning Administrator, there are no hands raised.
I have a couple of questions, and I wanted to clarify that the reason for anybody who's interested that we're changing the conditions is because conditions may change for mobile vending businesses. This is one of the sections of the zoning code that we're looking at right now. How soon that'll happen, I don't know, but those conditions as they change will be applicable to the mobile vending business. My other question is, did the fire department know there was a tent going in? Was that part of their review?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
fire department was reviewed all of the materials that were submitted with the application, and this site plan as shown on the screen was reviewed by the fire department, and the fire department conditioned the project accordingly.
Okay, was there a tent condition from them? I didn't see that in the resolution.
I'm not seeing a resolution that references a tent.
I would add a condition just to check with the fire department on the tent, because I would hate to approve this and then have them get in trouble for not getting a tent permit from the fire department. So it's more of an advisory condition that they should check in with them. I don't know that it would even trigger the need for it,
Right.
but they should check in with it.
There is a comply with all fire code permits and requirements section.
It's a catch-all, but I think calling it out just so that they understand that the tent may be a trigger.
Okay.
So
Sounds
it's,
good.
again, we're not telling them they have to get the permit. We're just telling them to check in with the fire department.
Cool.
Okay, so, and if the applicant's not available online?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to assume that they're okay with the revised conditions of approval.
Yes.
And I am looking forward to sampling one more mobile vending truck. So I'm going to approve the project as with revised conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. The next item on our agenda, 5.2, is a public meeting, and this is for a new 3-foot tall wood fence. It's a minor landmark alteration permit for the property located at 229 West 6th Street, city file number LMA 23-004. And the project planner is Suzanne Hartman, and I wait for your presentation.
Go. So just remembering how to, there we go. All right. Thank you, Zoning Administrator Murray. I am the project planner for the new wood fence that was proposed to be at 229 West 6th Street. This is a minor landmark alteration permit approval to allow a 3-foot tall wood fence at the front of the residence at, again, 229 West 6th Street. This is an aerial view of the project site. The general plan land use designation is low density residential, and the zoning district is single family residential, historic, also in North Station area. The R1 zoning district is applied to areas of the city intended to be maintained as residential neighborhoods comprised of detached and attached single family houses, clustered residential hillside projects, and small multifamily projects. The project site is also within the West End Preservation District, which is has a neighborhood character of predominantly single family residential, narrow I would say modest houses on narrow, deep lots with a variety of architectural styles, including bungalows, Queen Anne's, or colonial cottages. The historic combining district is intended to recognize, preserve, and enhance Santa Rosa's locally designated historic resources. And the North Station area combining district is intended to enhance and reinforce distinctive characteristics within the North Santa Rosa Station area specific plan to create environments that are comfortable to walk in. And the surrounding properties are also low residential, station mixed use, which is a variety of retail and kind of a range of visitor serving uses. This is the project site plan, and this green line is representing where the fence is proposed to be. These are photos of the site currently. And this is the example fence that the applicant has provided to show what is being proposed. These are fences that are found within the surrounding neighborhood. As you can see, also similar height picket fences. And these are the required findings that must be made in order to approve a minor landmark alteration permit. The project complies with all applicable zoning codes, including zoning code section 20-58.060, which states that site features must obtain a minor landmark alteration permit. And the proposed exterior changes implement the general plan and any applicable specific plan, and that the project is compatible with the goals of the West End Historic Preservation District and the low-density residential general plan land use designation. The wood fence is proposed to be 3 feet in height, and it will not screen the primary residential structure from street view and will not interfere with pedestrian or vehicular safety. And the fence does not detract from the surrounding structures within the West End Preservation District. These are the findings continued. Front yard fences are known as character defining elements in the West End Preservation District, and the proposed fence will be consistent with the surrounding residents that have existing yard fences like I showed in this slide. And the proposed fence is compatible with the materials of the residents while not copying the original design. This project has been found to be in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. It's a long one. And qualifies for a Class 3 exemption under CEQA guidelines, section 15303, subsection E, and that the proposed fence is an accessory structure. There are no unresolved issues as a result of staff review. Although there have been changes proposed to the resolution just to include rhetoric about the West End about this property being located within the West End Preservation District. So therefore, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor landmark alteration permit to allow a 3-foot tall wood fence at the property located at 229 West 6th Street. And this is my contact information if you have any questions. And we also have the applicant in the room if you have any questions specifically for the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. And keep your presentation up because I'm going to want to go backwards.
Okay.
Are you the applicant?
Yes, thank you.
Do you have anything to add to her presentation?
No, not specifically, unless there's any questions I could.
I have questions. So in addition to being the zoning administrator, I'm also the staff liaison to the Cultural Heritage Board. So I hear a lot about fences in that capacity. And I'm wondering if there's a reason that you're not trying to do something that more closely resembles what's typically found in preservation districts rather than going horizontal boards, doing the vertical boards. Not necessarily a picket fence, but
Yeah.
you could even use the same type.
I mean, no specific reason other than just the way it looks, and we do have a dog. And so like he might jump up on the boards versus something flat. And so there's something there, but nothing specifically. I mean, we've done a lot to enhance the front area to make it look better. So I think, you know, this would also enhance the look and feel. It's a cul-de-sac. There's really not a lot of pedestrians that walk there that don't live there. There are a lot of homeless that jump through the fence across the street and go into the creek, which is one of the reasons we want to put a fence there.
Right.
And so just to, you know, kind of protect ourselves and just have some sort of barrier from that. There is a lot of pedestrian foot traffic in that regard of just homeless coming in and out. So nothing specifically in terms of the look other than just having something that's comfortable that enhances the overall appeal of the front area.
Is the home a contributor? Can you scroll back up to the picture of the home?
This, I don't think it was a contributor. From what data I researched is that this house was built in, I think, the 1970s.
Okay,
So,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
What's a contributor, by the way?
A contributor, so we, in our preservation districts, we have contributors and non-contributors. A contributor is one that has kind of architectural character that is
Like a
representative
Victorian
of a
or
certain
something like
period of time, yeah.
This one's a little bit more modern.
Yeah,
It's a duplex, it's not a single family home, so the area prior was just rocks.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
we're doing a lot of things to actually enhance the front area. We planted a couple of trees that are approved by the city, and so
Nice.
yeah, we're just trying to make it look better curb appeal, I would say. So,
Nice,
Yeah,
and trees, we need trees
yeah,
desperately.
trees are, yeah, exactly. So this would just go along with that and provide just a layer of protection for our front area. Like I said, there's a lot of people that kind of park out in front and
I
hang
understand.
out, and yeah, so
I
you're probably
understand.
familiar with that area. Have you been in?
I am, I'm
Yeah.
familiar, I love the West End district.
Oh, it's a beautiful
Yeah,
area.
yeah. But I am familiar and I know
Yeah.
you guys have a lot of street traffic. So
Yeah.
can you go to the image with the proposed fence? So on the fence, which you understand that the highest point on the fence measured from the lowest point of
3
the
foot.
grade
Yeah.
is 3 feet.
Exactly.
Um,
And that's the plan. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but something similar. You know,
Actually, it's going to have to be pretty close to
it's gonna be
exactly that,
close, yeah,
but
but
3
like,
feet tall.
yeah, this was just an image I grabbed. I'm not a graphic designer and
Yeah.
put something together, so I just grabbed a picture that was similar. There's another one I sent that was probably very similar to this, but that's the overall design. It's gonna be like that.
Okay, so did we get another plan?
It's, he sent
It was
his
the,
previous packet, there were various photos.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what he's.
So this is what, this
is what I wanted to look
The
like.
the
Okay.
horizontal boards.
horizontal
Yeah.
boards and they look like, and with little gaps?
yeah, little
Okay.
gaps, yeah, so you
Okay.
can see through. I mean, yeah. just-
So if you can just add a condition that says 3 feet tall at the tallest point. The reason
Yeah.
I'm saying that is sometimes people put a post in
I've
and they put a decorative
I've
like,
seen
light on
posts
it?
where they go up and they're above 3 feet.
Yeah.
And I've walked the neighborhood.
and
Quite honestly, this would look a lot better than a lot of fences that are in the historic district.
that's your opinion and you're entitled
Well,
to
and
it.
everybody, and so the
But-
historic, right, is subjective as well, right?
Yeah.
So like, why would this not meet a historic, right? It's
Well, this
all-
would not meet historic, but you don't need to because you're a non-contributor. You're outside that period of
because of when
significance.
it was built.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And the architectural, like,
Yeah.
significance.
Design.
Yeah, this isn't.
Thank God.
Right.
So 3 feet tall with, where there is some transparency between the planks. And if the planks vary in size, that's something you may want to consider. That's an attractive look too.
Oh.
They don't all have, where you have some 6-inch and then drop down to a 4-inch.
Oh,
So you create a pattern there.
Okay. Well, that's a good
So long as there's a
suggestion.
gap in between them.
Yeah,
it
that's what
doesn't
we're
exceed.
planning to, yeah.
And keep your eye on any changes coming up through the process, because if you're trying to keep a dog secure, there
No,
may,
it's not more for security, but it's just, yeah.
I limit
Not
trying
100%. He
a,
could probably jump the fence,
I
but
know.
at least there's yeah, he's a
but
big.
if you, just keep an eye, because there may be some changes coming up so you heard me at the beginning say that we're making changes to the zoning code right now, or during the last item. Fences in preservation districts is another one that's,
Changing.
well, there's discussion about it. So if you want to make it taller, you know, a
No.
couple of years down the line,
Not planning.
it may be easier.
Oh, okay, well, that's.
So just saying, keep your eye on it.
Okay, all right.
And with that condition, oh, thank you. I'd like to open for public comment. If there's anybody in the room that would like to make a comment. Okay, and Mark?
If you wish to make a public comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. You may find the raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute once called upon. Zoning administrator, no hands are raised.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and approve the project as conditioned. I want to tell you that fence is almost exactly what I'd like to do at my house, but
Yeah.
I don't live in a preservation district, so
Oh,
I am a fan of the design.
Yeah,
So
thank you very much.
Comment.
I think I closed the public comment. I'm going to close the public comment and then approve it again. Public comment is my shortfall. This decision and every other decision I make today, again, is appealable on or before August 28th. So you're good to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Suzanne.
you.
Take care.
And the next item, 5.3, is another public meeting for the property located at 3019 Santa Rosa Avenue. It's a minor conditional use permit. And I'm going to let Suzanne describe the use. That the city file number is CUP 23-027. And Suzanne?
Thank you, Zoning Administrator Murray. So I'm the project planner for this minor conditional use permit application, which is proposing the use for RV, motorhome, and boat sales, as well as vehicle sales and rental. So again, this is, or just to give a little bit of background on this project, this was a previously approved minor conditional use permit that was brought to the zoning administrator of April of 2021, I believe, for the same use. Really, only the slight change from the previous application is that the existing garage is proposed to be used as an office space as well as storage space, instead of just all storage, I believe was what it was originally said. This is the project site. The general plan land use designation is retail and business services, and the zoning district is general commercial. There are various residential, commercial, and industrial uses surrounding the property. The general commercial zoning district is applied to areas appropriate for a range of retail and service land uses that primarily serve residents and businesses throughout the city, including shops and personal and business services. The light industrial zoning district is applied to areas appropriate for some light industrial uses, as well as some commercial service uses and activities that may be incompatible with residential or retail and office uses. This is the project site plan. So as you would go down along this road, this is where the proposed sales would be, and the yeah, it's a little bit small from this presentation, but the existing garage is this rectangle there.
Is that all the same parcel? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then this is the existing garage, and no exterior modifications are proposed. These are the required findings that must be made in order to approve a minor conditional use permit. The project complies with all applicable zoning codes, and that the proposed uses are permitted within the CG zoning district and by obtaining a minor conditional use permit. And the project site is zoned as general commercial and is consistent with the general plan land use, which is retail and business services. And the project site is located within an area predominantly used for commercial uses. These are the required findings continued. The proposed use does not the proposed use does not propose any other exterior modifications of the existing structure. And the use of the existing building is ancillary to the existing use, and the project site is located along Highway 101. And the residential uses are located on the north side of the property, are separated by a fence. The project has been found in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act and qualifies for Class 1 exemption under CEQA guidelines, Section 15301, and that the site is entirely developed and the proposed use would involve a negligible expansion of the existing use. There are no unresolved issues as a result of staff review. Again, as the background, this is essentially renewing what they had previously approved, as well as just changing that slight change to the exterior garage or existing garage, sorry. So therefore, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor conditional use permit to allow for RV, motorhome, and boat sales and vehicle sales and rentals, as well as for the existing garage to be used as an office space and storage space located at 3019 Santa Rosa Avenue. My contact information is on the screen if you have any questions, and we also have the applicants in person today if you have any questions for them. Thank you.
Finally got to say. Do you have any comments? Would you like to add anything to Suzanne's presentation? No. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and open the public comment period. Seeing nobody here.
If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. You may find the raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute once called upon. We have no hands raised.
Okay, then I'm going to close the public comment period. I do have a couple questions. First, I'm glad to see you coming back in. I understand that there was a little bit of time lapse there. I hope this is good for 2 years. If you decide to put windows in, which if somebody's using it as an office, I would expect you'd want some windows, especially when it's really cold or really hot out and you can't open up the doors. That will require some level of design review. Any exterior change, it's probably something, I also visited the site, probably something that can be handled over the counter. But we still have to make those findings, right? But I know like the sound wall kind of stops right there. It's visible. I don't think adding windows would be an issue at all for somebody traveling 65 miles an hour on the freeway. My one concern though is the northern property line and where we have the residential uses, the mobile home park. And I'm hoping I can convince you to either plant a row of trees or construct a nicer looking fence. I don't know what's there now.
A shitty fence.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to sound stupid.
On public, it's a public meeting here.
Gosh darn it, they have a cyclone fence with slats in it, but most of them are missing. We could maybe put new slats in.
Well, I'm thinking that it would be nice because they're going to be faced with looking at a big retail business and with some pretty big vehicles. What I'd like to see is a nicer fence built along that property line so it looks nice on their side, and of course it would also look nice on your side to protect them. I would go 6 feet. That too will trigger design review. Work with the planner, Suzanne, to get over-the-counter design review on that before you construct it.
Would there be for 6 feet?
They'd still require design review.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not a use permit, design review and commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
You could,
that's
and you
commercial.
can actually go up to 8 feet if you'd like. So it can be 8 feet tall. I'm just going to say it needs to be at least 6 feet tall. So maybe 6 to 8 feet.
Okay.
And I'm approving that as part of the project. That's a condition of approval. But the design of it, just run it past Suzanne. And if you do it solid, I mean, I'd just do the overlap, board on board, vertical because it's less expensive to build. It's a nice fence and it's not just shields them from the view, but it shields them from noise if you're starting up, motors and what have you. So.
It's not gonna take another 6 months or a year, right, to get that through? Okay.
No. She can do, when you come in, you're getting, the use, I assume, is triggering a building permit from the building division because it's a change of use. They'll just want to look at the office building and make sure that it meets the current building code requirements.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, long story short, Enterprise was moving in there and we were gonna put their building there coming from Corby, and I probably should shut up, I'm gonna start saying too much, but then they can't buy trucks since COVID came, so they bailed out. And
So that's
now
Why
we're-
we switched buildings.
So we're gonna
because-
stick, there was already an office in this building from the prior, it was a boat sales place there for
Okay.
30 years.
And-
Yeah.
Check with the building division. Did the building division weigh in on this?
I believe there weren't any comments, but I can,
Yeah, the fence is going to trigger a building permit. I'm gonna,
if it's 7 feet.
if it's 7
if
feet,
it's 6
it'll
feet,
trigger a building.
Make it
permit.
6 feet.
6
It
feet,
doesn't, you're still gonna have to get that design review.
But
that's over the counter.
That's over the counter.
Yeah.
We'll need to see the design. I'm gonna add an advisory condition here. Again, I'm not telling you you require a building permit for a change of use, even though it may not be a change of use. I'm gonna add an advisory condition that you may require a building permit and to check in with the building division about the occupancy of the existing structure for storage and office use. So just check in with them and make sure. You want to get it, it's easier to get it than it is to deal with it after the fact. So let's just go ahead, it's an advisory, check in, call them, that's all you need to do. And I think, you know how the building division works, you're a frequent flyer down there, so. So if you're good with those two added conditions, construction of the fence would also be limited to reasonable hours. We don't want to start at 7 a.m. because people, may not be out of bed yet. So if you can limit it to 8 to 5, that would be great.
They'll build that fence in 2 days.
I know, yeah, I know, but have you ever had somebody pounding hammers when you're trying to sleep at 7 a.m.?
Oh, yeah, no, we'll.
I have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway, so if you're good with those, I'm good with the project and I'll go ahead and approve the project. Thank you. And I'm you need to do it because I'm retiring before you expire on this permit. So anyways,
Perfect.
bye.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, the next item on our agenda, 5.4, is another public meeting. This is a request for additional fence height, a minor conditional use permit for the property at 2315 Creekside Road. Conditional use permit, or file number CUP 22-071. And I'll let Suzanne explain the fate of the project.
As zoning administrator Murray, the applicant has decided to withdraw their application for a minor conditional use permit due to design changes that would make them compliant with our zoning code section on fence height. And they will be applying for a building permit instead.
Perfect. And so I know I saw some photographs that show that fence is up now and they're taking that
Yes.
added addition down.
As a part of, they do have a code enforcement case open, and as a part of that completion or I guess approving their, how do you say?
Closing the violation,
Closing a
probably,
violation would be applying for a building permit and getting approval of their new design.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you very much. So I don't know, I'm going to open up the public comment period, even though we're withdrawing the application. I'm also going to sneeze. There's nobody in the room. Is there anybody online that would wish to comment?
Bless you ahead of time.
Thank you.
If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. You may find the raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute once called upon. We have no hands raised.
Right on. So with that, I'm going to move on to item 6.0 and adjourn this meeting at 11:11. Thank you, everybody, and have a fabulous day.